Hi, Satya.
Hi, man. How's it going?
Man, you're early.
Yeah.
What's happening to you?
I didn't want you to message me again.
So it's effective just as shaming is.
Yes, it is.
I'm
Where
good.
are you?
How are you? I'm
Hey,
still in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's the gift house.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you could only find it by this, right?
Yeah.
But
Did you discover the drawings of my kids on the whiteboard?
it probably has been wiped
Okay.
before we even came here.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not there.
Okay. So, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hello.
Hey.
Give me 1 second. I'll get my camera working.
All right.
So I've been looking at the exchange rates.
I've been looking at the exchange rates and it makes me cry.
Oh, okay. So I fixed the problem right now.
I mean the exchange rates of today.
Oh, the exchange rates of today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really, really sad.
Anyway.
Yeah. But I've been looking at our implementation and we need to...
I made a mess of it.
I'm not saying it's only your fault. It's actually the crypto compare sometimes fails or it just drops it, right? And we're not checking it if it's dropped. And the problem is that when it drops, it's just not going to parse the value at all. So the value for the date is undefined.
Yeah, and then it inserts an undefined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've already rewritten a lot of it, and I'm using a lot of await instead of premises. Okay. It's a little bit more clear.
Okay, sounds good. This is definitely a project for you.
Okay. And I was also thinking, I wrote to that channel, don't know if you've read it, but I was considering changing the API to accept the timestamp as well, rather than the date as a string.
I thought we were sending a timestamp to the API, but
no, we're sending a date, a JavaScript date, and then you parse the JavaScript date.
Yeah, there's probably a reason for it, but I don't remember because that whole thing is also used internally. I don't know why.
Oh, it's also used internally elsewhere in the code?
Yeah. It's also called from milestone.
Yeah, when you create it, yeah.
Yeah, that's why the code is a little bit complicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm not going to change the API now then.
Because there is like sorry guys, we just started talking about something. Hello everyone.
Hey.
So you have conversion. Damn it, my project doesn't load. Come on. Conversion service, right? Or the conversion hook, and the hook. Yeah, there's some logic in there that is important.
Okay. Yeah, the internal flag. I remember. I saw it.
Yeah. So follow the trail, and you will figure out why. Maybe it can be a timestamp, but maybe not because of some reason. I don't remember. It's too long ago.
Yeah, I think it's because it would internally, it's just simpler to just call it with a date since you already have the date, rather than converting the date into timestamp.
Exactly. I think that's why I've done it like that, but I'm not 100% sure. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just write to RJ. He's coming. I know that because I talked to him earlier. But
he's working the land. Hey, who brought the champagne? Where's the champagne?
What do we, for getting the grant?
We got a grant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is my champagne. Draw this imaginary champagne bottle.
I went to RJ's farm. I went to RJ's farm like 2 days ago. It was
really,
yeah. It was huge, dude. It's like 320 acres, like half a square mile.
Wow.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense either way to you guys, probably, but
it sounds like a lot.
Dude, it's huge, and so many goats and cows and all insane animals. Hi, RJ. I was just telling them about your farm a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And RJ automated everything. All the sheep are on blockchain.
Yeah, all their ear tags had QR codes. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's nice, man, that you went there. I want to go there. RJ is smiling, but he's like stuck. At least in this part of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm amazed that he has internet out there. He's really in the boonies. Like, I lost cell phone service driving to his house. So, and I have Google Fi. Okay, if Google doesn't have internet out there, I don't know.
No wonder they want to do the satellites for internet. I thought it's for Africa, but maybe even in Oregon they need those.
And we have fiber here.
It's amazing.
We have Iber.
All right. Let's start with the meeting. Let's start with check-in. I have no distractions, and I have 2 things to talk about, and a roadmap. Satya.
Yeah, I have no distractions. Except that lately my battery drains like crazy, so I might be running off at some point. But I'm super excited about this meeting and to see you all again. So, Adam.
Hey, everybody. No distractions here. Just excited to sit in on my first DApp meeting.
Cool.
Kick it over to Chris.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm slightly distracted because I'm working on a document. But I came mostly for the first part, and I might drop off later, and then I'll just wave to you guys. And I give it to RJ. If his connection works. Yeah. Then I give it to Griff.
Little Iris.
Okay, I'll go. I'm a little distracted because I'm at a coffee shop and I get a bunch of background noise occasionally. So I'll be playing the mute button pretty hard. And but otherwise, I'm just excited to hang out and see what's up. And RJ is disappearing or what?
Yes.
Oh, he's back. Okay, RJ.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Kind of.
I could hear you guys, and you guys couldn't hear me, so I don't know what was up. Anyways, a little distracted. That's why I was late to the meeting. But, and have something like an upgrade to talk about.
All right.
Great.
So, governance part of the meeting. Anyone, any topics? I have two. One is bridge publicity and articles for Don Adams. And another one is Leon Talk. Anything else? 3, 2, 1. Okay. So I'll start with the bridge publicity. So the tension is, I've talked to RJ and he kind of told me that there is a fear about publicly promoting the bridge and saying that we're doing this unique tech because it's on Rinkeby and it's not all that tested. So I really want to understand where's the limit there, and if we can try and write some articles about that, because the bridge is actually really exciting for everyone, I think. And that's something that would be great if we could write articles, but security first. So maybe I'll pass it to RJ.
I guess I don't think the bridge is that exciting because it's just a centralized service right now, right? Like, why is that exciting? It's like, I feel like we should publicize it when we like maybe make something that's a little more decentralized. But anybody can run. Like, the whole point of being in the blockchain space is to not be centralized. So why write about it, I guess? And then why bring, like, because it's centralized, like, it's an easier target. Not that I don't think there's really anything that could be bad besides bad publicity, really. Like, if somebody steals the, well, first they would have to figure out which server has the private key, which wouldn't be that easy to do. And then they would have to steal the private key from that server, and then they could, like, do anything the bridge does, but there's still this, like, 48-hour time lock security guard thing on the mainnet, so that there's really nothing bad that can happen besides publicity or us being really stupid and missing like fraudulent payments being created. Yeah, I guess it's just more of like a publicity thing. I don't know, and maybe other people don't maybe feel this way, but I feel like it might be kind of controversial. But who knows? Are we doing reaction round now, or is it free for all?
Yeah.
Okay. Satya.
Don't really have an opinion about it. I understand RJ's, but I think we should publish stuff. I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling about it. So I will just pass it on to Griff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that RJ is pretty right about one piece, which is like a centralized bridge is not nearly as exciting as we would like to think. It's a huge step for us so that we can start practicing all the stuff that needs to be done, and when we can put in a decentralized bridge, it'll be way better. But it's probably, like, at least from the blockchain perspective, it's a little bit of a like, I don't know, it would be like a headline and then it would be like, oh, they just ran a server that connects Rinkeby to, like, that's not that big of a deal, right? So I definitely understand that perspective, that from like the blockchain perspective, it's not that powerful of a piece. Although what it's building towards in the future, and what, all the stuff that we need to get done to make the UI work with the bridge is really important. And I really hope that either Parity starts working on their bridge again, or we start up another project to actually decentralize our own bridge. As far as the security side of things, I think it's actually really important that we at least have these articles up for security, so that we can point to them and give people like Adria in the White Hat group and all of our friends who love and protect us an easy way to actually get up to speed on what we're doing and what our security protocol is, so they can just give it a little oversight. Whether or not we go through the whole Chris bombarding Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit with all the this is our bridge security, that's a whole nother thing. But it definitely needs to be written, and it's just whether or not it gets publicized. How about Adam?
Hey everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously sort of too new to have a strong opinion on the publicity side of this. I mean, whether what our publicity goals should even be. My background as a journalist, I mean, for sure, when I was at ETH News, stories that pertained to scaling solutions were definitely of interest to me and to our editorial staff. I also hear the point about this being, I don't actually know a lot of the technical details about this bridge. I hear the point about it being a centralized solution, and so it not being, being more of a baby step than a leap. At some point, I mean, I think it would be really interesting to talk about, contributions that Giveth is making potentially to scaling solutions, whether it's something we do now or later when a more decentralized kind of architecture has been put in place. You guys are probably better suited to answer that question. Let's keep it moving with Chris.
Yeah, I think you guys are the specialists to decide on that. But I would, as you want to start with a follow-up of what's happening that Adam would do, I would definitely indeed mention it and get the documentation out there, so that, as Griff said, that people can look into it and see if it's indeed completely secure, and you guys decide how much you want to indeed promote it or not. I think that's everyone.
Okay, so amend and clarify. I guess I would like to add back the original article, which was the bridge design and rollout, and how does the current bridge implementation work. I think Adam could write it, and we may decide to publish it now or publish it in the future, because that's not going to change for a little while, right? Any objections to that? Okay. Proposal pass, I guess.
I guess no, sorry. I don't have a strong objection. I guess I would rather just see not being too publicized until we make a better bridging solution, and then publicizing that. I mean, we could write something, put it on the blog or whatever, but posting it on Reddit and tweeting and all that stuff. I would prefer to wait for more decentralized solution.
Okay. So is it safe to maybe write it and in future also say that this is an evolution, and maybe not publicize it right away, and write it later on with some with the parity bridge solution?
Yeah, I think that's good. And then sure, maybe we end up publishing it, but it's after the bridge has been running for a month or something, and we make sure it's actually working and whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's safe to publish it the day that we start testing it live. right? Like, I don't think that's safe enough to try. I'm just going to throw that out there. And also, Bowen is writing a security document that should at least be reviewed when this is written. That's not really an objection, just something to throw.
Okay. All right. So I stand with the proposal that we were going to write this article. All right. Proposal number 2, and I want it to be really, really fast. So I'm going to talk in Lyon. I was thinking of talking a little bit about the bridge, but now I'm thinking that I'm just going to do a similar demo to AdCon. Any strong feelings about it? Let's do a very short reaction round. I don't know.
Wait, clarifying question. When is this thing?
Oh, this is 20 seconds. So in, 10 days.
Clarifying question. Where's Lyon?
Here in Barcelona.
Oh, is
Nearby
this a non-conference?
This is a non-central conference, because it's
that's
non-central. It's in Lyon.
But
Okay.
the crowd will be similar to AdCon,
Yeah. Okay.
probably.
So
So
you're going to talk about?
I was thinking of doing the similar demo, but I have more time here. So I could also, the idea was also to show a little bit of the bridge, but now I'm thinking it's not ideal.
Clarifying question.
Go ahead.
What do you want to get out of this talk?
So this is where a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum people will be. So it's a mix between Bitcoin and Ethereum people. So I would like to get publicity in the Bitcoin world as well, and potentially mention this idea of bridging Bitcoin to Ethereum.
Okay.
Can I react? If anybody has any clarifying questions. Okay. I think you can talk about the bridge a little and just be like, it's closed beta essentially, and this is like we're getting user feedback and like figuring out how the interface will work. It's like just an intermediary step. So I don't think it's like. I don't think I guess I'm saying you don't need to shy away from talking about the bridge. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of said before, I think anything to do with, could potentially sort of have implications on scaling is really interesting. And I think at these kinds of conferences, I mean, the point is to kind of get people excited about stuff. I mean, be clear what's the distinction between where we're at right now versus where we might hope to be going. But yeah, I think getting people excited about the bridge is not a bad thing necessarily. I will pass it to Satya.
Yeah, I think a demo would be good. Talking about the bridge is probably expected, or how we do things. But maybe we could also, if there's so many Bitcoin people and you want to bring that to the attention, maybe we should talk about this RSK partnership that we are going to work on. I think that will really be of interest to those people. So maybe talk to RSK. Chris.
Yeah, sure. Promotion is always good. It would be cool to know if it gets streamed. It's always good if we have a recording of you demoing. Yeah, they're very enthusiastic because they will have 3 Gigabit speakers, so that's a good thing. And if you want, so my latest presentation in which I use your, which is based on your InsightJS presentation, is also on the Google Drive. If you need some extra slides, if you have more time. Yeah, and I give it to. I think we all win.
Griff didn't go.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hey. Oh, I was unmuted too. How nice. Yeah, I think it's great. Do a demo, talk about the bridge. I mean, you only have 30 minutes, so you know you got to kind of pare it down. I imagine you won't get so technical. So, like, I definitely like the idea of mentioning RSK and the potential of bridge to and ending crypto tribalism is always a big piece, you know, multi-token functionality on this. I mean, we have so much to talk about, so it's up to you, man. You get to pick what you think flows best with the talk. Did everyone else go?
Yeah, I think. So I'm going to the bridge and talk about. Oh, Xavi.
Yeah, sorry, got a little late. Yeah, nothing to say. Just want to say hi.
Hi. Okay, we're going to move to the dev part very soon, but just to conclude, I'll do the demo. Mention the bridge. Talk to RSK if I can disclose the RSK thing. I can't imagine I wouldn't. And that's it. I just wanted to check with you if you guys think there's something we need to share. Cool. All right. So the dev part. Do you all have the document shared? I'm going to share it on the side as well. So basically, the idea is we're going to deploy the bridge as soon as possible. I'm thinking doing that next week. So next week on Wednesday, seeing whether we can actually. Sorry, I'll try and next week we see whether we can actually deploy it, whether there are no errors. But let's see from RJ. What's the bridge status right now?
Yeah, so yesterday, or I guess this morning, I made an upgrade. So like one of the challenges was like withdrawing. Before, like you had to withdraw from the milestone, and then it went to your Rinkeby wallet, and then you had to withdraw from the Rinkeby wallet, and then it goes across the bridge, and then it's like a 48-hour delay, and then you have to collect on the mainnet side. And so I made a change yesterday where now when you withdraw a milestone, it goes directly to the bridge, skipping the like Rinkeby wallet side or that step. And then the idea is also to change the mainnet side so that after the time lock for the payments has passed, anybody can call like disperse payment. It's like a function. And it'll like push the payment to a user, whereas previously like the recipient had to call collect payment. And the idea being is we could just run a service that just calls that function and pushes all these payments to other people's wallets. So from a user's experience, they clicked withdraw on the milestone, they have to wait whatever the time lock is, roughly 48 hours, and then the money ends up on their mainnet wallet. The only thing, like the foreign side is all done. The only thing I haven't deployed is the home bridge side. The contracts are all done and everything. I just am running it by Audria to make sure there are like potential security implications of pushing payments. But because we are whitelisting tokens, I think it should be safe to do, and it's okay. But I just wanted to get a second opinion by Audria. So that's the status.
Do you think it is feasible to do this before weekend and test it on the next batch of milestones in order to see next Wednesday whether we can go to release?
Yeah, so I deployed the foreign side all this morning and made some changes to the DApp regarding that flow. And so that will be tested. And then, yeah, hopefully Audria gets back to me tomorrow, and then I can deploy the mainnet side, and then we can test all of next week's next week's milestones will be tested this way. and then we can release it next Wednesday or something, or move to a release branch.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Next one is, yeah.
RJ, can you send me a link to the Solidity part? I'd love to review it, and exactly how you expect to do the push payments. Like, are they?
It's just
is there like
there used to be a check, a require message.sender equals recipient. So it's just removing that check.
So that anyone can push payments.
Anybody can call it, yeah. And so,
Okay.
I mean, and then I added a method that takes an array of payments and then just iterates over the array and calls the old the push payment method. So like you can do multiple payments at once, essentially.
Cool.
Any other questions? Okay. Next up is wallet preloading. RJ, I think you're done with that, right?
Yeah, so that's working now. One thing we need to do is just get some program so people fund the address that it comes from, the Rinkeby address. So far, I've done it. I set the limits pretty low, like 0.1 or 0.2 ETH every 3 days, which should be more than enough for our users. We can adjust it if needed, but that should also make the ETH last a long time. So yeah,
okay, so
it's done. I just need to post the address and get some people to fund that with some more Ether.
Okay, I can help and organize that. If you give me the address, I can make that happen. Or you can, up to you. Okay, next one is migration to Mongo. That's Satya.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's basically, it seems to work locally. So that's the status, but we need to make a plan how we get that to alpha at some point. And I think that maybe the best, what, sorry? I thought somebody wanted to ask something. I think maybe the best approach is if we set up like a parallel environment first, like a new Feather server, because I made both changes in the DApp and in Feathers. Obviously, a lot in Feathers, but also some in the DApp. Some queries had to be updated. So maybe we should set up another Feathers server that runs on Mongo and do the migration, and then yeah, we can compare the data maybe. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think we should, if possible, that should be done. Well, not if possible. That needs to be done before we make a release. Before we move to the release environment, we need to try it on develop. So hopefully, like if we could do that this week, that'd be great. And then next week's milestones, we'll all be using the Mongo version.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
So, yeah.
Does it make sense to migrate alpha data rather than develop data, because the ones on alpha are different to the ones on develop, right? As in, like, there's stuff like
I don't think it makes sense.
Well,
the reason being is you've created models specifically for like the latest changes in the DApp, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Alpha isn't going to be up to date, so.
Okay. Okay, so Satya, can you? I've tried it locally. I guess all we need to do is to set up the environment, right, and do the migration.
Yeah. So about the migrations, that's the other part. I'm not sure if so. We have like about 14, I think, databases. Well, like databases or whatever DB files. Which I don't have anymore, but so I don't think they're all, you can all query them. So first I was thinking, okay, I can just query all the milestones and then, you know, read the milestones through the API and then write them in Mongo. but I don't think they all have services attached to read them like publicly, right? So I probably need to get the files from Alpha so that I can read them locally and migrate them.
That's not a problem. I mean, you have access there. I can show you how you can do that. Yeah. If you still have that key. If not, I can just send you the files.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and then is the challenge that at some point we need to have like a little stop in creating stuff on Alpha so that we can run the migration and flip.
Yeah, I think that happens after we test the release.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think when we release, we'll be like, everybody, this is your last week to get all of your milestones to completed status. Otherwise, you're going to have to redo them once we upgrade the contract. And that would be our time period to do it.
Okay, and so yeah, I will get the files. I will write the migration scripts locally, get that running. And once that works, and I can see all the Alpha data locally. Then, well, basically, we're only going to migrate milestones, campaigns, and DApps, right? Profiles, user profiles.
Yeah, and
that's about it.
All the images and stuff like that.
All the what?
Images, but those actually.
Yeah, and the images, but all the other, like, there's no donations on Alpha, and all the challenges, all the other databases we don't need, right? We don't need to migrate.
We don't need to migrate. DApps and campaigns are going to have to be recreated. Really. Okay. The main one is just milestones, I think, that need to be migrated.
And then they will also have to be updated to point to the correct campaigns, right? And milestone campaigns and DACs.
But there's so few DACs and campaigns. It's easy to just create them manually. It's just the milestones. I think it's faster to do it manually than create a script. I think. I just recreate them, and then we can always like hook them up in the database. It's just super simple.
Because there's no foreign keys there, right? Or like there's there's not really any constraints on like foreign keys being present or not.
No, there isn't. And otherwise I can. But so it's just milestones, DApps, and campaigns, and profiles and images, and all the other databases like events and this blockchain. We don't need it, right?
But you need that for develop.
No, I mean we don't need to migrate that because we're going to upgrade everything.
Right.
So can I clarify? Are you guys saying you are going to upgrade profiles or migrate profiles or not?
Yes.
I think we have to, but the thing is, everybody's going to have duplicate profiles, right? Because they're probably they might use a different address once we move to mainnet than they were using before. But if we don't do profiles, then all of the like existing milestones that we're migrating are going to just have address as the users instead of their name. So I think we should.
Yeah.
Me too. Also, I definitely think that it's easy enough to just for campaigns in DAX. It might even be a good thing to make us have to rebuild them because maybe people will change what they wrote and update it, which is positive on the governance side. But then, will we keep the old one hosted for a while? Like, will we have, old alpha or deprecated alpha.giveth.io or something like that, so it's easy for the copy paste?
No.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Oh, yes.
Well, I mean, if it'd be frozen essentially, but basically it's like anything you do on old alpha is not real, but we could just leave it running for a week so people could just copy and paste their old data.
That would be really nice, and that will make it really easy for everyone.
Yeah, but I think it's way faster if I just do it. It's like,
Oh, well, at
Let's
least
just copy paste them because there's like 8 decks, and it's like how many campaigns? It's no,
You
not even
can't.
8 decks. 2 decks, 1 deck, 2 decks.
Well, okay, you could, but you're going to have to manually make so you're going to have to submit transactions, which is fine, and then I guess you could just
okay,
you could change the owner on all of them. I guess that's fine.
No, okay, yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, now let's recreate them. Yeah, okay, so I will just migrate the milestones and the profiles.
Yeah.
And the decks and the campaigns need to be recreated, and then I will link the right milestones to the right campaigns afterwards.
Yeah, and make a special status which is called obsolete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we only need we don't need to migrate all milestones either, right? Just the milestones that are paid. Like if they were rejected or canceled, I don't think we necessarily need to move those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paid milestones.
Only completed.
Yeah, so the actual status is completed.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes my life much easier. Yeah. I think, and then, okay, who's going to set up this new Feather server? You have power, right?
I could set it up.
Who is I?
RJ.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, I will do this tomorrow. I will just get the milestones and the profiles locally, and then I will ping you to set up another Feather server, and then we can deploy this branch to Netlify and then check it as well if it works there. It should be good to go then.
The other thing is, I don't know. I remember like regarding migrations, you said Yailer Wojtek was making like there's all those issues and like weird shit that needs to be fixed. Do you know what the status is on that? Or
I've asked Yailer. I don't think he's going to do it. So I might do it or someone else. I'm going to make sure it's done.
Okay, yeah, because there's a few GitHub issues we need to go through for the migration part. But that could also happen after the bulk migrate, then we just go manually edit them.
Yeah.
It's super simple now.
Yeah, that's really way simpler with Mongo. Anyway, all right, cool. I will make sure that gets done.
Okay. So we also talked about the...
I have to run, so thank you guys. I'm sorry. I'll rewatch this when I get back.
All right, man. See you,
See you
Greg.
guys.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So we talk about the migration to release and alpha as well a little bit. So donation aggregation is next. I've actually finished that, except it doesn't work for DACs. Maybe RJ, if you could look at that. So it actually transfers the donations from campaigns correctly, but it doesn't do that for DACs. It throws transaction error, and there's nothing really clear there.
Okay. This is locally or on develop? Or both?
This is locally.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my feeling on that is it's not a priority before release. So if I have time, I'll get to it. But I have other things that I think are like I want to get code coverage and certain things done first. I think the splitting was definitely needed, but aggregation is that's a nice to have, but it's not critical at this stage.
I agree.
That's that fair assessment. Okay. Yeah, so I could look into it, but I feel like there might be some feathers issues there as well. But yeah, that's why I don't think it's like might not be a quick fix. So.
Okay. Next one on the list was mapping holidays. You guys have done it. Xavi didn't do that. Not sure if that's needed from you, Xavi, but it would be nice if you could fill it in. Next one is fixing conversion rate. That's something I'm doing. I'm basically there for just fixing it swiftly, but I'm not. But I've been also rewriting it to do a more permanent fix. I think that one will go to the next release, and this one will just be a hotfix for now. And when we do the migration, we also do a recalculation of the rates. I think that makes sense.
We do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I have to recalculate all the rates when I migrate it?
Or we just let them fill, actually. That's even better. So we just
I
let
don't
them
understand what
populate.
you... Oh, those I thought you wanted to check the conversion in the milestones. No, okay.
No,
you were talking
right
about the cache data. Okay,
Exactly.
clear.
Exactly.
No, we don't need to migrate it. I think it's better not to migrate it and just repopulate.
Yeah, we repopulate, but then we should also check how much off we were, and we should also talk about refunding people potentially.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is write a script that basically harvests all the milestones and just makes a compensation milestone, essentially. Like it should be fairly trivial to write a script that does that, like calculates the different. So like for each recipient, we just, we get all the milestones, sort them by recipient. For each recipient, we just calculate every milestone that they had and make sure the conversion, or like if it was off, we create a new milestone that like groups or has an adjustment for all of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sacha, you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to do that before the 1st of July, and the next one I'm going to do before the 1st of July. But the first thing I want to do after Mongo stuff is to update the user profiles so that we can see milestones and donations.
Okay.
Cool.
Because I think that will be very helpful for transparency.
Okay.
Yep.
So is there something else that we actually really, really need for the next release? Did I miss something?
This is not the next release, right? The next release is next week, or not?
Next release is next week. So the analytics and the session recording shouldn't be there, right?
No, it's just for before the 1st July.
Right. But if we want to hit 1st July on alpha, we need to release next week.
We do?
Or go to the release branch.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's only 2 weeks away.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think this needs to be implemented. Like, it will not influence anything.
The analytics and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, that's only really needed before we start onboarding things, right? So that's not
exactly
for probably at least like 2 weeks, like mid-July, something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something else that would be nice, I might have time to do or not, but basically I was thinking on the wallet page, showing the authorized payments and that are created in on like the main chain, and then just showing whether it's been paid or not. It should be pretty easy to do. And I can try and do that, but it's like the bottom of my priorities, but it is something like that. That would be nice before before July 1st.
Okay. Okay. I see Satya writing something.
Yeah, it's something that is not in here. It's like we discussed that we need to, if we onboard other projects, we need to be able to attach proof to milestone completion.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to upgrade the conversations to be able to accept attachments, basically.
Okay. Does it need to be in this release, or can it wait until the next one?
Next one.
Okay. That's below.
So it needs to
But
move.
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So anything more for this release that we absolutely need? Okay. Sounds good. So
I think if we release this, it's like a huge milestone.
exactly.
It's like another bottle of champagne, virtual champagne.
Yeah. We can maybe do that in Souk.
Exactly.
Okay. So the next step after that, I started to write the wiki roadmap, but I've decided that the conversations rates are more. Sorry, the conversions rate are more pressing issue. But can we also try and get a little bit of a feel for what needs to be done after the 1st of July? So the first one is the upgrade conversations to attach proof. That's Satya. Then the implementing analytics session recording, also Satya. We moved the donation aggregation there. The identity contract by RJ, and also we're going to work on the UX for that. Then the next one is simplify and fix UI. I've kind of assigned Xavi for that because he already looked at those things. What came from the top of my head was removing the tokens. Reviewers would be pre-selected, but you can still select it if you want with some advanced option or something like that. Removing relations between DAX and campaigns, but also there are some other things on the GitHub. Do you guys have something from top of your head, or I guess you can also post it later?
I think there's a lot of just like weird thing, like when I click withdraw from a milestone, right? That withdraw button, the transaction sends, but the withdrawal is still there. Like there's a lot of like little things like that I don't know if are all listed out, but maybe just walking through the UI and finding those would be helpful for sure. Donations. There's one like when you donate, like we don't create the feathers object right away, so it doesn't appear in the UI until after like it's been bridged.
Yeah, those two are for me the most nagging, I guess. It's very confusing.
Another thing that's confusing is when you submit a transaction, like we have these confirmation toasts that come up, but because like we have a delay, like we don't actually handle them on the feather side until after like 6 blocks or whatever it is. Like we require a certain amount of confirmation, so that's a little something else that's confusing for sure. It's like, oh, my transaction's been mined, but why don't I see my milestone here yet?
Yeah, I also noticed that because I see the notification, and then in the console I see that a couple of seconds later transaction is mined. And this is really, we need to fix that. I agree.
Okay. So I put those two in bold.
And the withdraw. You forgot the withdraw button.
And withdraw.
It's also very confusing.
I haven't looked into the code yet, so I'm hoping to start like this next week. I'll bother you guys about all these. I remember some conversations, but I don't really know what all that means. But
I think these 3 points, they're both in the DApp as in feathers. There's like, I need work on both sides.
Yeah, and maybe we probably, it'd be easier to maybe write out some more explicit issue for each one or something.
Yeah.
With a little more detailed.
Yeah, we can also jump on a call, shall we? And I can kind of show you what it is.
Yeah, it'll be cool if we can set up a time and go more specific.
Okay. And the last thing that I think we really need as soon as possible is some roles management, where it should be possible to transfer any role to somebody else. So I'm a campaign owner, or campaign manager, we call it, and I want to transfer it to another user. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just give your private key. It's easy.
Yeah, that should be pretty easy. It's just adding the UI for it and then handling the events and feathers. The contracts can do it all.
Okay. So we also had just a bunch of tasks below that we've had before on our timeline, but are no longer, we didn't talk about them in Cardona. One of them is integrating tokens. I guess it should still happen before we onboard, right?
I think maybe before we onboard September or whatever. I think it's like a nice to have, but I don't think it's necessary at this stage. Like, yeah, like I think we could still onboard and get a lot of feedback, and it's just like, oh, they're using ETH, right? But before, like, yeah, you want other charities, they're going to need some type of stable coin.
Next one was IPFS integration. That's going to happen, but it's, yeah, hopefully before September. And I'll rewrite the milestones. Anything else that we're missing, guys? Sorry for this to being this long.
Well, there's just like a lot of like we're very centralized right now, right? So there's a lot of like decentralization stuff that would be nice to have, right? So like making feathers easily deployable, like on DApp node or something, is an example. Or the bridge, I think, is probably a higher priority. Either if Parity's not going to pick that up, then we need to pick that up. I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of things like that.
Okay.
I guess that's like I'll probably focus some time on that for sure after this release.
Okay. It could be specified better. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one is testing. There wasn't really, I guess, any testing really done, except for we've discovered the exchange rates because of the duplicating milestones. But I'm thinking I'll put out the hotfix and maybe we do a testing on the release with some contributors. How does that sound?
Yeah.
For the hotfix?
For the hotfix. Or does it need to be? I mean, did you look at it, RJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is that API will return, if you call a future date, it returns the current one. So I think, I haven't looked at your fix, but what we talked about, okay. I think is fine. Okay. And honestly, because we're going to be doing a release testing next week anyways, I would just push it to alpha as long as you've tested it locally.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I've tested it on release anyways as well already. Cool. Okay. And reviewing, contributing DApp issues, we're not going to do that. Actually, we're going to kind of pause the contributors for now. I think it makes sense. It's distracting a little bit until we release. Yeah. Cool. anything else for the dev part?
Just regarding the contributors, I guess there's like a few like super stale PRs that I think we should just close at some point, but it's not a priority.
Okay. Yeah. Can do. Cool. Fireside chat.
Yeah.
I have one thing, and you guys are part of that, and that's Swarm City. So with Swarm City, after you left, we've talked about doing an app on top of Swarm City and showing it in DEF CON. And basically, it requires almost no modifications at all, except for a simple modification in UI. But we can even go crazy. So right now, it's me, Lindsay, Yaler, and a bunch of Swarm City guys. I'm officially inviting you if you guys want to collaborate on that one as well. The idea is that we do something similar to, I always see it as a Tinder, where you kind of say, what are your needs? So when a disaster happens, you might need like a blanket and stuff like that, food, whatever. Then there are providers, people that actually have that, and that can go and say, yeah, I have this, I have that, I have that, and either directly give it, which is what we would like to do, or someone else can sponsor it. So it works basically just as any deal with Swarm City. So
why do they need us? This is Swarm City, right? It's a marketplace.
This is a marketplace, but in marketplace they actually disallow a third party to fund this. So we've re-enabled it in the UI. That's actually already done. But the thing is, they are willing to give us part of their demo time and run a demo directly on DEF CON and saying this is give thing. So I think this is great opportunity. I'm definitely going to work on that. But if you guys feel like you want to be part of that as well, it's completely outside of this DApp for now.
So Wojtek, it's like, so because on Swarm City you ask like, okay, I need this, and then someone comes up with a proposal, or and how will give it the DApp be linked to it? I don't get that entirely.
So the DApp right now would not be linked to it at all. It would really be on top of Swarm City, kind of like almost like a fork. We could do our own UI, our own branding with that. And
then what's the point?
Well, this is something we wanted to do with the DApp, right? We wanted to do immediate disaster relief at one point. And this is something that we could already do right now and then potentially integrate it in the DApp. The thing is, it's nicely set up. We can just see how it works. And then if we decide, we can integrate it or even rewrite it.
Okay.
It's using all of their contracts and stuff, right?
Yeah, they have just a single smart contract and it uses that.
Okay.
There's no there's no modification needed for the smart contract of theirs. Unless we want to do something more crazy.
So it's something like I'm in danger, or I lost my house and I need to build a roof, and then people can fund that thing, and it's a bit give it branded, something like that.
Yeah, basically.
But it is Swarm City.
Yeah.
Swarm City with a give it logo.
Well, that's how Swarm City is going to work, anyways, because it's a platform for all sorts of commerces, but we're then a non-profit using Swarm City, so Sure, that could work. I think it could be a nice promotion for Give It as well. So if it could be a nice, fun little side project that brings more people to Give It. I don't know exactly how it will work, but I guess that's the thing you guys will be figuring out.
So yeah, I just want to invite whoever wants to collaborate on that to collaborate on that. You're in that meeting room, so there's all the info you need. There's the MD file as well describing the user story.
Okay, so Swarm City will have their Swarm City ready at DEF CON, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's the plan, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I'm just a little bit surprised that they want to give away demo time to a non-profit when they're building a for-profit commerce platform. So that's cool that they like us, but like it's I'm a bit surprised by that.
But until then, please, guys, don't publicize this at all. Like, don't talk about this. You know, like, you can talk about it to other people,
On
but
YouTube
like,
now.
no article about it, no. Sure, but no like announcement on Twitter or something like that.
Sure,
Okay.
of course not.
So when are you coming to Belgium, Wojtek?
Well, we'll see. That might happen again around the Zug, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to go to Antwerp and, you know, bring whoever wants to come and crash Swarm City's party over there. It depends on when we do the Zug thing.
And you guys are all, when you're in Belgium, you're all very welcome in Brussels. I have my place here as well. I can show you around.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, if you could check in with her and see what...
Okay, yeah. Sounds cool, Wojtek. I'm not the person for this, I think.
Okay,
Well, anything is over check.
that's fair.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Cool.
But I like the markdown file that you guys created with you screaming in the conference hall of AdCon that you needed immediate help, and then Lindsay would be like the nurse on the other side of the right?
Yeah,
Was a plan like this, right?
Exactly. There has been some brainstorming how to actually do a real demo for 3 hours, saying that there's an emergency at DEF CON and people need to like get food. It's called Hungry Devs because devs don't really eat that much. So that was the idea, and as to be a little bit more serious about it, I'm also talking to someone who's doing stuff for homeless people there in Prague, and maybe we could run a serious demo where people could fund their food for a day or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
But to be decided, all of this, you know, if there's no push from anyone's side, this might not even happen. But I want to dedicate a day of my 1 day a week for this.
Okay.
All right. Guys, if there's nothing else you want to talk about, I think I'm going home. I'm going to get some food.
Yeah, me too. There's no more chat and the fire is out. So.
It's getting cold.
Yeah, I put on my sweater already. So. All right. Great meeting. There was a lot of stuff to discuss. Yeah, we have a plan moving forward. So that was my checkout. Adam, what did you think?
I thought it was great. Yeah, thank you for including me, and you know, hopefully I will understand more and more of what you guys are talking about as I sit on more of these meetings. RJ?
Yeah, it was a good meeting. Excited for the next couple weeks, I guess. I'll feel a little like nervous, might be stressful, but anyways. Yeah, I think we have laid out a decent plan. We might need to like solidify it a little more, and, just so we.
If you can't sleep, count the sheep.
That usually works.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris.
Yeah, nice meeting as always. Good to see what you guys are working on. And it was a long one. It was 20 minutes longer than my comms meeting, Wojtek, which is so crazy. But it was nice. And I give it to Xavi.
Yeah, thank you for including me as well. I'm hoping to, slowly ramping up and start being helpful soon.
Can't wait for that, Xavi. And yeah, we're going to cut the meetings shorter. This was a planning one. Now we're going to do some stuff. Yeah. See you guys.
All right. See you.
All right.
Enjoy the day. Bye.
Bye-bye.